What's up, everyone? Welcome to another episode of the Plastic Cards Podcast, a show where we break down the video game news of the week. My name's Fonzie. I'm joined by my co-host, indie game dev extraordinaire. He's currently prepping to rush Area 51, my friend, Gavin Jones. Gavin, how are you?
They can't
stop us all.
They can't stop us all.
They can't.
if we Naruto run, we will be faster than their bullets.
No.
I do love the articles with the guy who started the whole thing.
Is it actually linked back to someone?
Apparently, and it's funny because it's like that looks like the guy that would have done it. Just some random dude on the internet.
I gotta see him now.
Yeah,
he's got a fedora and he's just kind of.
Either that or like it all turns out to be Edward Snowden. Like I wouldn't question it for half a second. It's Putin.
Yep. Yeah. I would not doubt that at all. Yeah, it's such a bad idea. Of course, I imagine no one's really going to show up, but
I like your theory. Was it your theory? Maybe it was somebody else's theory of just like it's just going to be streamers that show up
with their phones. What's up, guys?
Yeah, I think, that was yours. I think your theory is very good on that.
Yeah, just as long as they stay behind the fence and
right. I don't know if you want to explain that for the person at home.
Well, they're probably getting ready for the raid as well. But so a week ago, they caught the internet by storm where someone kind of started this thread that they were going to bum rush Air 51 if there's enough people.
A week ago.
Was it a week ago?
This has been going on for a fucking month. I've been so tired of these memes.
I guess you're right. I feel like in internet time is a week to me. But yeah, with the idea that they can't kill everyone if we bum rush Air 51. But yeah, they can and they will. It's a top secret government base. They will kill everyone and not blink an eye. Of course, I guess they'd want to avoid some kind of, but they would just stop people before they even get close enough.
Right.
But even then, this idea that, of course it's a joke, right? But it's kind of blown up. But this idea that you can just get past this fence and all the secrets are there and you can just pick stuff up and run off with it. It's a huge base. There's bunkers. There's all kinds of complicated stuff.
Yeah.
Even if there is anything of substance there, but it's usually just like it's tech. It's just like secret stuff.
Well, that one, I mean, back when it was still a secret base, it was for testing aircraft.
Gotcha. Yeah.
So, but I don't even think it's technically a secret base anymore.
No, I guess it's publicly acknowledged, and maybe I don't know what they're doing there exactly, but I think you're right. It's more just testing aerial stuff. And yeah. It
would be hilarious out of like, if we did have like alien tech out of all the bases, if they actually did have it at that one, just a whole bunch of people like, man, this is such a dumb idea. We could put it in literally any other base.
Well, the one that they think it's going to be at is there. Yeah. Or I love the fact that it's like, we do have alien tech. They have these crazy lasers and stuff, and they're just like, try and bum rush this fence. We're going to use this alien tech on you.
Yeah.
I don't know. But I love the nugget idea there is that people just want to know. It's something that's been in the public for, since the 50s, that there was something that crash landed in Roswell, New Mexico. It was stored there. I love that people are still curious about it and entertained because I'm such an alien fan, and I would love to know stuff too. But the reality is nothing's there, I'm sure.
Wow.
And nothing probably landed. Did you listen to? There's this awesome podcast with Joe Rogan. He had this guy who apparently. Did you? Okay. Well, he had this dude who apparently used to work at Area 51. He's been in that whole environment for a while. His name is Bob Lazar. The podcast is pretty cool because apparently he worked there. It's just in question like what he actually saw, what he did there. But it's a super interesting podcast. But. He's this well-known dude.
I heard people like working there because even though you're in the U.S., you still get deployment pay.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Whoa. Is that maybe any military base too, or like secret one? Or
yeah.
Interesting. That's the real-life benefits of working at Air 51.
I guess.
The insurance is top-notch.
I just imagine the people that like deliver them their food or just like making up all these stories. Like, man, I deliver like more Cheetos to Area 51's warehouse than any other warehouse. So I tell you what, E.T.'s alive and is about flaming hot Cheetos, and not just because this base is filled with 18-year-old recruits.
Yeah, E.T.'s now orange because of all the Cheetos he's eating. Oh, man. Well, Gavin, anything? Did you play anything at all this week?
I did. I started a new game. Well, I did play a little bit. I was craving some Slay the Spire, so I played a bit of that. And I do love it with that game when sometimes like you start to get a run going. So like last night I started getting this run where I'm just doing 1,000,000 damage if I can get like a few turns in.
Okay.
And then like that game has a way of humbling you because it really does have an enemy for every setup you have.
Interesting.
So you're doing good until you get to the one you forgot about. And then I played a little bit of Risk of Rain last night.
I need to get more into that. I have it on PC yet.
God, it's fun. The new update is really good. But I also kind of cheated and watched like a tier list because I really don't know what items are good.
Oh, okay.
And there's so many of them. So I went through and I'm like, okay, so I'll pay attention to that. And I did way better. And I followed some of his tips. And I felt really good and unlocked the new character who's good. But I'd been craving for a while after the Outer Wilds. I wanted another game where I could go in and just explore and piece together the story.
Gotcha.
And I knew that the new Prey was that game. And it just so happened recently, I don't know if it's still going on, but there's a sale on space games.
Oh, okay.
And so this $60 game was $5.
Dang.
And the DLC was $5. So I spent $10 and I got them both. And so far, I'm fucking stuck.
Really?
In the intro. So
is it something like a puzzle or it's like a glitch or you're
No,
just
it's a puzzle.
Interesting.
But I was also pretty drunk when I was playing it last night. So I'm like, I don't.
Have you got the goop gun yet where you can like jump on?
Buddy, I am stuck in the intro. There's an intro.
I do like the intro because they play on what you're experiencing and then they kind of change the environment. I don't know if you've got that far yet without spoiling anything. But
well, I found out it's fake.
Yeah, okay, gotcha. I liked how they kind of like pulled the curtain back and then you really play the game, I guess. Yeah.
Right. And it's interesting how quickly you're fighting the aliens. One thing,
the little bug guys.
So one thing I gotta say about that intro that is super impressive is, and I think I know how they do it. So the fake city.
Yeah.
Right.
When you're in the helicopter flying around, or just like the backdrop.
Just when you're looking out.
Gotcha.
Into the helipad area because you can see over it, and when you're looking at it, it's this whole city.
Yeah.
Right. And I remember walking over to this window, and there's like a piece of room that digs kind of into that.
Okay.
But when you're on one side, what should be a room is not a room. It's just sky and city. But then you go over here, and that's just really I'm not entirely sure how they did that, but it's really cool. And you don't really see that visual trick pulled off in games.
Gotcha. Interesting. So you think maybe the stuff isn't rendered? Is it like blocked off or showing you something that's not really there? Or I guess I'm wondering how they actually mirror or like block off that image when there should be space there, but it's not.
My only theory is using this technique that I remember hearing about in college, which literally no one uses for things. I don't think. I forget. It was called like the shadow buffer or the fuck was it called? The mirror buffer? There was like this.
Sounds like a Stranger Things character.
A little bit. Well, that's what the game that one of our friends made with it definitely used something like that.
Yeah.
And I forget. Yeah, so they could have used that trick, but yeah, it's really.
Now, is that a technique for just hiding stuff, or like not having to fully render something, or showing like a 2D image? What is going on with that shadow thing you're talking about?
I forget. I knew it was a way of like having two different versions of the same image because that's what we were doing. It was like a shitty version of Portals is what we were doing.
Oh, really?
Which this kind of looks like a really good version of Portals.
Gotcha.
But yeah. That city, I still can't believe how good that city looks when you walk out. That whole game looks gorgeous.
Yeah. It's been a while, but I do remember that scene.
Yeah, and it definitely kind of, for a minute, it had me a little bit mad because it was another one of those ones where it's just like, why are modern games coming out look just as good as games that came out years ago, but they run like shit on my computer. But this game kind of gets a pass because it's in an enclosed environment that's so much easier to render.
Gotcha. That's true. Yeah, it's more like a BioShock kind of, at least the older ones where you're just kind of in these hallways.
Like BioShock, yeah.
Interesting. I'm excited for you to play through that and tell me what you think, because I gave up I just wasn't feeling I don't know what it was, because it was a cool environment. I liked the atmosphere. I liked the puzzles and stuff that were going on, but I was super early in. I think I was encountering the little alien head crabby guys. They were
those are immediate. I didn't think I was going to get hit with those right off the bat.
I think I had a wrench or something. I got the goop gun, and then something else came out, and I just played something else. But I want to see what your take is on that game eventually.
Yeah.
That's cool.
It's going to be cool. I hope I like it. Yeah, my only complaint so far is there's a lot of reading.
Gotcha.
Like coming off, I felt like I read a lot in whatever that
Outer Wilds.
Outer Wilds, and this is already. I'm pretty sure I've read more text than in Outer Wilds.
Yeah, there's got to be a balance. I'm a sucker now for noticing like how well the devs or the directors are balancing, just throwing the story at you, making you read stuff, and you actually experiencing the story and balancing that whole thing. And I'm a big supporter of, like, say, Half-Life 2, where you're just like different kind of game, but you're just experiencing everything. You're just in it the whole time. You're super immersed.
I think it gives credit to that trope that we all got kind of tired of, which was the audio logs.
Oh yeah, sure. Talking about BioShock, yeah.
Yeah, like it was a point where every game had it, and it was kind of like, all right,
right.
But
which, if you can let me still move around and hear the audio log, that's preferable. There's some games where you have to stick around, or you have to like play that and you can't do anything else. I'm like, come on, what year is it? Mm-hmm. But I feel like Rage 2 had an issue with that, but I don't remember quite. I think you could walk around and listen to the audio logs.
And you beat Rage 2, didn't you?
I did. Yeah, had fun. It was
crazy.
Cool. I'm excited I don't think the DLC has dropped yet, but they have these newer update DLC stuff that will come out. Yeah.
I uninstalled it to get Prey.
Gotcha. Well, I didn't play much this week. I did download Ultimate Alliance 3 on Switch.
I was curious if that was your jam. Do you like beat 'em ups?
I do. For some reason, at least lately within the past like 3 years, and especially with the Switch, there's a lot of games coming out where I'm like, oh, me and my nephew would dig that, because maybe I'm not going to spend a bunch of time playing Ultimate Alliance when I look at the surface, but we played it just maybe an hour, and it was cool. It was a lot. It was very much beat 'em up, but you could pick from, I think you unlock more characters, but already the roster's pretty big, and you're just kind of jumping around, and it's very arcadey, but it was fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was one of the games where it's like, oh, he might like to want to play that together, so I'll get that.
I was gonna say, I was like, I wonder if Fonzie would want to play that.
Yeah.
So it's one of those games. I haven't played one since like I was in middle school.
Yeah, it's been a while since the last one.
Yeah. And I remember when I played it, like it was one of those games where by myself I wouldn't play it, because you're kind of just mashing a button.
Yeah, it can get repetitive, and
But like with a buddy, staying up all night, eating Skittles and Mountain Dew. That was my shit.
Yep. I pulled up the Metacritic because it got pretty decent scores. So GameSpot gave it an 80, IGN gave it a 78, Game Informer gave it a 70. So that also kind of spurred me to actually like download the game and play it.
I am very impressed from what I've seen. The animations look super expressive, and they have a lot of character.
Yeah. I like the whole art style they've chosen for this game. Like, it's not the cinematic universe, it's not the comics, it's somewhere in between. Yeah. But been playing that, or really just played an hour of it. I'd like to play more of that. Yeah. But I did play some Super Mario Party too. I had my niece and nephew over.
Oh, nice.
Over the weekend.
So one of them died.
There was some grumpiness. Like my niece Jaylene, she gets super competitive.
That's a cool name.
Yeah. That's her name. But
she needs to get a dance move named after
the Jaylene. Yeah. The Dougie or something like that.
Yeah, exactly.
She's super competitive, so she does not like to lose, and so she was getting super frustrated. And like we played the there's a kind of like board game version of it you can play where you can get the stars and the stars matter.
Yeah, Mario Party.
Okay. I guess I'm super not in the loop with Mario Party. But yeah, so her stars kept getting stolen by my nephew, and there's just like a lot of unlucky dice rolls, and yeah, she was getting pissed. Yeah. But so it was funny to me.
It's always been one of those games where you can be the best Mario Party player in the room and still get fucked on.
Yeah.
Like there's no stopping it.
And that's fair. That's when life is really fair.
Yeah.
Because you never know what's going to happen.
That's a friendship ruiner right there. That and...
Yeah, or like Mario Kart 2 with the shells at the last minute. Like,
yes. I feel like Mario Party is definitely worse.
Gotcha. I pulled up some news, Gavin. Some stuff happened over
We're finally getting to the part we're far enough past E3 where the drought's starting to be gone, and I'm thankful.
Right. Yep. There's actually more stuff popping up. What helped was over the weekend rather, there was San Diego Comic-Con, and so a lot of actual video game presence was there too.
The 30th anniversary, is it?
It might have been. I didn't pull that up. You might be right. Which is nuts.
Right.
San Diego's the big one because that's where everyone premieres. It's a big deal. But there's the New York one that's also getting more and more popular where people will premiere stuff there too. But there was a lot of, it's not video game related, but there was a ton of Marvel news they dropped at San Diego Comic-Con. I don't know if you, or the Marvel Cinematic Universe. They announced like the next phase stuff.
Oh, God.
It was dope.
Oh, that's crazy because we kind of remember that big roadmap from like, I feel so old. Like forever ago.
Yeah,
they
where
showed
it was
that
like 2030. They had everything
yeah.
planned out. Yeah.
We're done. We've done that
We're
whole
done.
thing, I think.
Yep. We're all less happy and older now, but it's done. They announced the next phase, and it's pretty cool. And they really don't have there's no like baddie they're building up to. They're just like developing all these different characters, which is really cool. But they announced a bunch of dope stuff. Blade's coming back. Blade's one of my favorite movies of all time. That first scene with the rave and the blood. Oh, if I could have a room that just looks like that all the time, that'd be awesome in my house.
I need to rewatch. I can't remember anything. I did see. I saw a post on Destructoid before I got here. I was like, did somebody re-announce Blade? Because it was like Wesley Snipes is not too old to, or he's still young enough to play Blade. But I'm like, also, doesn't he not pay his taxes?
He might be in jail or at least have some issues with that currently. But yeah, that was his whole thing. He was just like,
I still remember when he was trying to pick a fight with like Joe Rogan.
Yeah, it's true. He'll talk about it every once in a while on this podcast because I listen to him all the time. But yeah, it was a thing they were actually trying to get going, and I think Wesley pulled out or something like that. But he's actually trained in various martial arts, but so is Joe Rogan.
Yeah, I would put money on Joe Rogan.
Probably. I think he has more maybe experience, or he has like jiu-jitsu experience, which is legit going against like these karate techniques, which I don't know. I guess they balance out, but I'd have to see what happens. But
it would be see. I feel like we do have enough like martial arts trained celebrities that we could actually like recreate. What was that terrible show on MTV? It was claymation.
Oh yeah, it was a death match or death battle. It was a celebrity death match.
Celebrity death match.
Yeah. You could do a real life.
Yes, and I feel like the winner at the end of the day would have to be Van Damme. I don't know who would top Van Damme. I feel like he could take on Schwarzenegger.
Whoa, that could be cool.
Just because he could, like, I don't feel like Schwarzenegger can move that fast.
I don't know. You can kick him in the fucking back and he doesn't budge at the same time. Did you see that video?
I liked his comment of, because his comment of like, oh, I thought just somebody bumped into me and I fell. Like, because people bump into me all the time. It's no big deal.
Yeah.
It's like, that was a bump to you?
Yeah, this guy's like aerial, just like perpendicular to him, just drop kicking him in the back.
That's terrifying. That guy could have crippled him.
That could have been really bad.
Yeah.
Man. I don't know what this, I guess apparently that it was released, like that guy does that. He was in Brazil or something. That guy he goes on social media and tries to like just fuck around and kick people or cause a scene. That's his whole thing with celebrities.
That's like, Jesus Christ. Wasn't that reminds me of that thing. Wasn't there like a YouTube trend back when like YouTube was still a baby of like slapping babies?
I don't remember.
Like go up and slap someone's baby on the face and run away. It was like,
okay.
What a dumb fucking thing to do.
Yeah, kids don't slap babies. Don't do that.
Baby's going to grow up afraid of literally everyone. I'm not an introvert.
I was slapped by PewDiePie one time and it never went over. So we had San Diego Comic-Con. Some video game stuff popped up from there.
Do you have any good movie stuff on here from that? Just out of curiosity.
Just from my brain, nothing that I pulled up. You know what? There is some slight movie overlap. Really with this one too. This is so they announced or showed off the trailer for the Witcher series that Netflix is doing.
I saw that.
Did you watch it?
It looked cool. I know a lot of people were kind of upset because they didn't realize it's going to have nothing to do with the video games. It's based off the books. Right.
Which I think is still cool because apparently that hasn't been explored. Like the video games take place after it, right?
Yeah.
I have the trailer pulled up here. But I like the cinematography, the way it looks. I don't know if sometimes the hair looks a bit ridiculous on Superman. Agreed. But he's probably the best guy to play him, for sure.
I like that when I look at him, I don't see him.
Gotcha.
So
he is starting to blend more into. Is it Geralt? Is the name of the guy? Geralt.
Yeah. So I hope it's good.
Yeah, I'm excited for this because I'd never really jumped into the movies or to the games rather.
Yeah.
But I like this how they're building more of a Game of Thrones, especially since that's gone now. So like I have that itch ready. So I'm excited for this. And there's like a magic sense to it, and he's the beefcakes of all beefcakes. So I know there's a scene at the end where they show him kind of potioned up, and people were pretty excited for that too.
Yeah. It was definitely interesting reading the comments after this came out of people being like, I just don't want it to be, because the games weren't super political, I guess.
Gotcha.
And so people are like, I just don't want this to be just new Game of Thrones.
I'm okay with that.
But people in the comments are like, you didn't read the books, did you? Because
I imagine that's
political as hell.
Yeah,
and I'm
sure.
like, okay, well.
Yep. Yeah, you have different areas that are in conflict with each other, and you have the magic and the monsters. I imagine it can be super political, but they could probably do it in a way that's interesting still.
Yeah. I guess one thing from the books people were picking up, they were saying is The Witcher whoops a lot of ass in the books. So they're like, make sure there better be some damn good action.
Gotcha.
Because that's one thing the games get really right is just ass whooping.
Yeah. Well, I imagine they're putting a big budget behind it. You know, it's a big property. They end the trailer. Right. And they end the trailer with him facing off against this huge spider. So I think they are. I'm hoping they're going to lean into that action side.
Yeah.
But
that'd be cool.
So they premiered it at a panel they had over for San Diego Comic-Con. I pulled up some of the details on it that we covered a little bit. But IGN writes, Alicia Judge from IGN writes, Netflix has debuted the first trailer from The Witcher from the show's Hall H panel at San Diego Comic-Con, offering a first look at Henry Cavill as Geralt.
We'll have a bathtub scene. Remember that
You're reading
scene.
ahead, Gavin. Henry Cavill as Geralt of Rivera in all his monster-killing glory, Freya Allen as Ciri, Princess of Sintra, and Anya Chalotra as the sorceress Yennefer. Now, there's also Netflix's The Witcher will not start adapting the games, but will have a bathtub scene.
But will it have the sex on a unicorn scene?
Is that real?
Yes.
Whoa! I'm on board now.
either that or I've been very well tricked by the internet.
Was that some weird dream you had maybe?
No, I don't even.
Because that's super dope.
Yeah.
I
don't know how one has sex on the back of a horse. That seems very difficult.
You make it work. There's that Kanye West video where him and Kim Kardashian are like it's a music video, but they're on a motorcycle and they're like making out and stuff. But he's driving it.
Very dangerous.
Right. So, but there's unicorn sex. So I feel like those are very similar danger levels.
I feel like the motorcycle would be way more dangerous because at the end of the day, if I'm not balancing very well, the horse isn't going to tip over on itself.
That's true. It's driving on its own. Although the unicorn has the crazy spiral, spear on it, so you got to be careful with that.
I guess that would make a good handle or
just watch where it goes, man. You don't want to get, or that's a cool thing that can happen. I don't know, but so they kind of talked at San Diego Comic-Con. The showrunner talked about how they're adapting from the books rather than the actual game, and so they're going to kind of cover some different stuff that happens. But showed off some scenes and it looks pretty cool.
Yeah,
we'll see what happens with that. I didn't see an actual release date for that, but because right now I think they're just promoting the teaser, but we will see. I'm on board. We had that having so more stuff that came out as far as video game related that came out of so this came out of San Diego Comic-Con as well. So Death Stranding, Keanu Reeves could have starred in it. This is from GameSpot Eddie McCooch.
That would have been a weird choice.
Could have been weird, yeah. So one of GameSpot, one of the main celebrity characters in Hideo Kojima's upcoming PlayStation 4 game Death Stranding is played by Hannibal and Casino Royale actor Mads Mikkelsen. As it turns out, the actor wasn't the first big name pitch for the role, it seems. During a San Diego Comic-Con panel this weekend, Kojima and movie director Nicholas Winding Refn, a friend of Kojima's who also has a part in Death Stranding, shared new insight on the much-anticipated and very mysterious game. Among other revelations, Kojima said the Matrix actor Keanu Reeves' name came up in discussions for Death Stranding. I originally was recommended Keanu Reeves, but I wanted Mads, Kojima said, according to the report from Twitter.
Mads was the one? Instead of the Walking Dead guy?
No, so he plays like, it looks like the main villain in the game, Mads Mikkelsen. He's the guy.
Right.
He's plugged into these other like death trooper guys, these like military dudes. He looks dope. But yeah, so initially I guess they wanted Keanu Reeves to play that Mads Mikkelsen character. But
I guess I just buy. I feel like Mads has played a decent amount of villains.
Right.
So
it might be more of a stretch, or you would just see Keanu Reeves and not the character they want, I think.
That is kind of Keanu's problem. Is you can't, like, even as Neo, that's still that's still the guy from Bill and Ted.
Yeah. He's very much and he doesn't, I wouldn't say like he doesn't act, it's just like there's a lot of overlap with all his characters with the way he expresses himself and stuff but
that does remind me of I watched a compilation. It was every woe ever from Keanu Reeves, all his movies, and it goes through in chronological order, and you can sort of see like his, like, it's weird because it's just the woes, but you can actually see his acting get a little bit better.
Whoa.
Like there was one movie where it was like hard, and you could sort of see everything looked a little better quality. He wasn't just like a kid with goofy hair up on the thing.
I mean that's a acting clinic. If you can show progression in an actor's skill level just from the woes, I mean, damn, he might be the best, the top one of the top 10 actors. And if you can show that,
I think a more impressive one was what the fuck, the all right guy.
Oh yeah, God, why am I blanking on his name?
I watched the full every all right ever, and that was a lot. Gotcha. There were a lot more. Like I think he's even gone on record saying he doesn't think he does it that much, but boy does he.
Or like in interviews and stuff too. And
it was just impressive, his versatility with the all right. Like he can do it like in a sadness or in like a happy moment, or like he has. It's impressive.
Interesting.
Anyway, off topic.
No, it's fine. I like getting off topic.
Yeah, I think Mads was isn't he friends with Mads? Like,
I'm not sure if that's because of the project or something else, and they became from that. But he knows a lot of Hollywood people for sure.
He definitely seems like the guy to be friends with, and like clearly he will like scratch these people's back too. Like, because he was friends with Shigeru Miyamoto. And I guess they were at lunch, and he just asked him if he'd put Metal Gear on the GameCube, and he did.
Oh, nice.
And it's like, that's a lot of money just for an ask.
Yep.
So,
although if you're going to ask anyone, that's the guy to freaking get it through.
So
there was a little bit of attention on the actual Death Stranding game at that panel. Mm-hmm. So this is also from GameSpot. Also during the Death Stranding Comic-Con panel, Kojima spoke at a high level about what the game is all about. And, well, it doesn't make all that much sense.
It's not going to make sense when we play it.
It's not.
Everyone's going to get to the end. That's one I really want to play by myself, not watch any streams.
Gotcha.
Not watch the ending first for once.
Whoa, okay. Take it easy, Gavin. You don't know what's going to happen.
I still don't know. Like, I still haven't watched the last few trailers, so I didn't know about that Mads Mikkelsen thing with the army of guys. So, like, I feel like I'm going to go into this really raw, and it's gonna be really weird.
I like that, and that's kind of how I am with like movies and stuff in general now. But I think for this one, they throw so much out there that you can watch the trailers and still be kind of come in fresh. Right. But I do like that approach to a lot of media, is just like kind of like going on blackout and then just experiencing the actual thing when it happens. But he did have a quote here, Hideo. So he's talking about the gameplay. You're alone playing as Sam, Norman Reedus' character. You're trying to connect city to city. I can't speak much, but everyone will be playing around the world, and we'll have an indirect connection, he said. I'm an otaku, and I felt like my teachers and family didn't understand me. I came to SDCC 10 years ago, and I met a lot of people like me. So I think that's what you'll get from this game.
What's an otaku again?
I do not know. Let's Google that. That is a Japanese word?
Yes.
Is that a teacher? Is that a young person who is obsessed with computers, or a nerd, or particular aspects of popular culture? Yeah, that's a nerd. Well, there's Kotaku.
Right.
I didn't think about that. But so he keeps, reiterating on this idea of connection, of sharing some kind of this world with other players. I don't know to what extent. I wonder if when we actually play it, it's not going to be multiplayer at all. It's going to be like you can see shadows or remnants of other people and what they played. Almost like Dark Souls, how there's like leftover bits you can see of what other people did.
Yeah.
Maybe something like that, but yeah.
Yeah. Or just even see, it'd be really cool if this were one where like you're actually connecting with people, and like Like, how cool would that be if you hear the story of like two people that fell in love and got married due to this?
Death Stranding. Wow.
Kojima would be like, yeah, I'd plan that. I knew that would happen.
Yeah, you guys thought it was crazy, but
well,
it's really
not any less crazy. Like, we know he's crazy.
Yeah. Well, it turns out to just be like a dating app, a really elaborate dating app.
That would be impressive. Instead of swiping left, you have to or right or whatever. It's right. You have to travel 12 hours.
Yep.
To get to that person.
Yeah. Fight the goopy interdimensional monsters and yeah.
Well, that's after. But.
Okay. That's in real life. Gavin, there's a put on your tinfoil hat. We have some rumors that don't have any real like hold in reality, but I do like bringing this up. This is more of a conversation too, but anyways, this has been passing around. This is from Forbes.com. Red Dead Redemption 2 DLC rumor claims an alien undead nightmare is coming. This is Paul Tassi from
Sure, why not?
Forbes.com. Yeah. So a rumor is currently making the rounds regarding Red Dead Redemption 2 and the holy grail of video game projects. Rockstar actually decided to make single-player story DLC for its games again. The rumor from a throwaway Reddit account who claims to know an artist.
This is not true.
Yeah,
this
so it gets very
not true.
Yeah, it gets very much like my uncle at Nintendo.
Yeah.
Who claims to know an artist at Rockstar. Serious red flags around here, so beware.
Jesus Christ, dude.
Says that Red Dead will be releasing an alien-centric DLC in early 2020, similar to the standalone zombie Undead Nightmare adventure for the original game, and you'll be playing once again as Arthur. So we can take a step away from this article. What I like, though, is that I wanted to kind of play around with the idea that, we didn't get DLC for the last GTA. We didn't get any story-based DLC. They just went full. No, there was nothing. It was just full focus on the multiplayer, which is gangbusters. Yeah, and they sold a ton of money, a ton of copies through the DLC. It's seemingly the same focus for the multiplayer aspect of Red Dead 2, but I wonder why they're not focusing more on the DLC. Like, what's the... because when you think of like the last big DLC, they put out Undead Nightmare for the original Red Dead, and that one got a bunch of positive reviews, high acclaim. So it seems weird for them to just like leave the whole story DLC alone.
Yeah, I don't know. This would be fun. I don't think that's real, though.
No, it's probably not. But I just like the bringing this up, kind of thinking about why they decided to leave the story DLC kind of world and just focus on. Really, granted, with Red Dead Redemption 2, that's such a huge game. There was so much story in that game. Like, they don't really need any more story. But they're also leaving that whole Undead Nightmare reiteration, like a sequel to that.
And it's weird, too, because Rockstar as a company is like one of the rare companies that really doesn't need to fucking worry about money.
No.
They have it. They spend as much money as they want making these games because they'll make it back in a second.
Yep.
And with this one, it's definitely... It is kind of strange that they haven't just done what they want and done something like this. It's kind of interesting. It is so weird too how like Rockstar can get forgiven for anything, like not putting out these, or like I feel like the last two GTAs when they first came out, the online has been busted to shit and back for like months on end, and people just don't care. They'll keep playing because they love this so much. Yeah, no, you're right. I do remember when the that first online multiplayer thing came out for GTA 5, it didn't work at all. It was super buggy, but there was such a demand for it. It seemed so cool. You could have your own apartment. You could play in real time with other people that people just kind of like, they just dealt with it. And when it eventually worked itself out, they've had so many users, so many copies sold. It really just like took off. But they must, because they're in a position where they can really do whatever they want, they must not want to do story DLC because there's no push from whatever publisher. They could do whatever they want, it seems like. Yeah. But it's just, I would love to see a follow-up to that Red Dead Undead Nightmare DLC because it was pretty sweet. It would be really cool. Wasn't Undead Nightmare, can you buy it without buying the original game? Yeah, they put out a standalone DLC thing after that came out. It's very cool. I always wonder how that works with your hard drive because I'm pretty sure it was the same map. Yeah, you might be right. So I wonder what they do or how they kind of, shrink it down or just shrink down the data, or I don't know. Do they check for like, do you already have the map in your because my hard drive could not. That's why I had to, like, any big open world game, even though I have a terabyte, an open world game will eat it up. Gotcha. So it'll eat that booty like some groceries. Nice. Is it also because of the whole RAM thing? Like it has to then load? It's just hard drive. Yeah. Gotcha. Interesting. They have so many damn textures and sounds.
Gotcha.
Sounds are a bad one, but textures are
eat up more space. So
eat
Gavin,
up more booty.
eat up more of that booty. That's a quote from Gavin Jones. We had some Nintendo news with the new iterations of Switch that happened last week. So they had the Switch Lite, which I finally released in detail. But there's, interestingly enough, there's another hardware update that's just kind of being rolled out as you buy a new Switch. So that's the Switch model with a bunch of different numbers on it. But it has better battery life. So it's up to 9 hours.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting. Reading comments after this, it was very interesting how quickly pissed off people were pacified. And they're like, dude, why could you at least have had like a replaceable battery on the Switch? To which people immediately were like, no. They replaced the CPU or the GPU or something, so it's more energy efficient.
Oh.
So the battery's still the same. And everyone was like, oh. All right.
I didn't know that. That's interesting.
So that's neato.
It is, yeah. Although with these kind of things, it's not like going to be on the box, right? It's just the only way you identify is you have a special serial code number. So, but then people miss out on that because only really nerds and people who are paying attention to the news in the industry are going to know, get that upgraded one. So like, why not tell people, or they don't want to hurt their sales or something? It
might be kind of hard to like get it, it might be kind of hard to get it first because you like, how long do you gotta wait? People aren't gonna want the old one,
right? But they're not going to advertise it. So I think Joe Schmo or whatever regular family is just going to buy the regular one. But then they miss out on a slightly better. It's not night and day, but it's a slightly better battery life improvement. I always wonder about it because there has been like, say with the last with the Xbox 360, eventually they fixed that whole red ring thing. But I don't know if they released a whole new model or they just silently behind the scenes started fixing stuff through each little upgrade in the hardware.
I think they changed the if I remember correctly, what it was the thermal glue.
Gotcha.
The thermal glue on your CPU is designed to be able to get very hot without unsticking, if I remember this correctly.
Gotcha.
And this one did get unstuck.
Yeah. But eventually they fixed that, but I don't remember. I know they did a new version of the Xbox 360, and was that them fixing that problem, or you could still buy those standard 360s with the problem fixed before they switched over? They just never advertised that fix, but I don't know. There's marketing decisions that are made for why they don't say that this is better, this has improvements, but I found that interesting. They just kind of silently upgraded it. I didn't realize that they actually switched out a component and made that more efficient rather than actually improving the battery.
Right, yeah.
Interesting. That's pretty cool. We have some games that are coming out Friday. Really, one big one that stands out for me is Wolfenstein Youngblood. Yeah.
Y'all got to advertise that shit because I didn't even...
Exactly. It's kind of under the radar, it seems like, as far as promotion goes. Maybe it's somewhere that I'm not seeing it. Maybe there's commercials somewhere.
Yeah, I don't watch TV, so I don't... All I watch is those weird fucking ads on YouTube.
Yeah.
Where it's like, hey, you like anime titties, right? And I'm like, no. Can you stop? That's all I get on YouTube, and it's so frustrating.
Interesting. Well, I think, is it like the suggested videos or the actual ads that are playing? Because the suggested ones.
Ads.
Oh, okay.
It's always like some weird clicker game, and usually it's got anime titties, and I don't know why. Maybe it's because I'm saying it now, so my phone is listening.
Right.
And it's like this guy.
Well, you probably walk around your house saying that as well, and so it's just going, this guy really loves anime titties. We got to shovel in this content into his YouTube page. I pulled up the trailer here.
It's just because I'm talking to my coworker whose name is Anime Titties.
I pulled the trailer here. I'm super excited for Wolfenstein Youngblood. I really liked the last one. The first one actually didn't catch on as much for me, but I loved how they made everything just a tighter experience for is it the new Colossus, I want to say. So
does only one of the daughters have the armor?
It looks like they both do, because I know it's you can play it in tandem. You can play it with someone. So it's like a not multiplayer, but I'm blanking on the name. But you can play it with another player in real time. Gotcha. But it looks ridiculous. This series always remind me of like if you like Quentin Tarantino direct a game. Like it's always had that kind of flair to it. Mm-hmm. So I'm excited to play this. Really like the story and the whole world. Mm-hmm. But that's coming out Friday. Not a whole lot. I know the Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3 kind of snuck in. That was last week too.
Right. I had no clue.
Yeah.
and the autocomplete for that sentence was penis. So I was trying to say you have a gorgeous dog, and my phone's like, you got a gorgeous penis. And I'm like,
your phone's like, what? I don't know. I tried.
When is the last time I wrote penis into my phone? Preempted, especially by just over here Googling, gorgeouspenis.com.
And anime titties and
this podcast sponsored. But so this was a big one that I saw. I don't know if it just happened. So Smash Bros is the headliner for Evo.
Whoa, okay, interesting.
It dethroned.
What was the previous one? Yeah.
It's always been Street Fighter. That is the tradition.
Now, which version of Street Fighter? Like the newer one that came out?
It's the newest one. Yeah.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
But yeah, so I mean, to my knowledge, it's always been Street Fighter, so that's a big deal. And it was funny because a lot of as long as Evo's around, people have been complaining like Smash Brothers doesn't belong here.
Really, I found that interesting because that's a huge,
it's very different than a regular fighting game. So I get that mentality, but so going into the comment section, reading about that, I'm like, people are going to be pissed, and everyone's like, good. Now I don't have to, because it's the last event. So they're like, now I don't have to be up till 5 a.m. watching this shit. I can go to bed at a regular time.
Okay.
It's like, all right. Well,
was it maybe done for the fans' perspective, or was it just an actual does it mean that this has dethroned that as this ultimate fighting game, or?
Yes. Well, I wouldn't put it that way. I put it. I think last year it had the most views.
Gotcha.
And this year, is this the first? I think this is the first Evo that the new Smash is hitting. So it's got a lot of hype behind it.
Gotcha. Because it was holiday season this last year. Yeah.
And so it's got a ton of hype behind it. It's got the most entrants out of any game, and last year it had some of the most views out of any fighting game.
Gotcha.
So it's rightfully earned its place as the headliner. It's not going to stay that way, I can promise you. Okay. But that's very cool that this game has come from its very humble roots in Melee.
Yeah.
And stayed in Melee for way too long.
Well, I pulled up, as you mentioned that, I pulled up comicbook.com.
So sick of Melee.
They write that this is the first year that Super Smash Bros. Melee is finally removed from the schedule. So as this one transitions in, so
I hate watching Melee. It is the sameiest shit every
time. Was that the
time.
GameCube one?
That was the GameCube one. And there's 5 viable characters. It's Fox, Falco, Peach, hilariously, Jigglypuff, and Luigi? I forget. I get the 5, and you see him every game, and it all plays the same. So it's very frustrating to watch.
I see. So I have this tweet too. So this is the official layout for the entire weekend for Evo. Looks like so. Friday is SC6. If you can translate that to me, SC6.
StarCraft 6.
There we go. Okay. Saturday is Unist.
The fuck? Well, see, that's the problem. Some of these anime fighters have really fucking weird names.
Gotcha. And it's maybe it's acronymed or something. So, but then there's Dragon Ball Z, Fighter Z or something.
I can't wait. I want to know. I want to know what's his name is playing.
Who?
Furry.
Oh, the Fox guy?
Yeah, Sonic Fox. He's so fun to watch. And it's like people say, if he wasn't so likable, he would be a villain. Because he's just invincible up there, and occasionally he'll let people win.
Really?
To add a little bit of drama.
Yeah, to maybe do another round or something.
Yeah.
To keep it
or
going.
There was that legendary moment last Evo where he looked like he was shook.
Okay.
He was actually shook. Or I don't know if he was shook. No, he wasn't shook. It felt like the other guy had momentum, and momentum is so important.
Oh, okay.
And he was just dunking on him. And so the other guy took Sonic Fox out of winners and into losers, and they're going into the next round, and this guy's got so much momentum. He was just destroying them. And then he asked for a rule change. He said, can we switch seats?
The guy who's winning, not the Sonic.
No, Sonic Fox did.
Oh, okay.
Sonic Fox is getting destroyed. And he goes, look, can we check the rules? Can we switch seats? And it took him so long
to figure that out.
To check the rules, and eventually they did switch seats. And he cooled him down enough, and he didn't destroy him, but he beat him.
Wow.
And it was it was a kind of controversial moment.
That sounds controversial, yeah.
But it was smart as hell. And I ain't mad at him for it.
That's true. I mean, you're definitely using the rules to your advantage, and just like any sport. Although at face value, that kind of rubs me the wrong way, because you could just, I don't like that you could remove that momentum from someone. But
it was pretty cool.
Gotcha.
It was pretty fun. But he's a blast to watch.
Yeah.
And Smash.
What were they playing?
What
were they playing?
Dragon Ball FighterZ.
Gotcha. Okay.
But Smash is going to be so great to watch because I do watch a bit of competitive Smash, and unlike the previous Smashes, almost every character is viable. So you see some weird stuff out there. When somebody's dunking on somebody with a Wario, you're like, I didn't know he could do that.
Gotcha.
The fact that I do hope they nerf Olimar because Olimar is way too powerful.
Okay.
And he's
a Pikmin guy, right?
Yeah, he's kind of boring to watch.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a blast, and it's going to be one even if you don't watch other fighting games, because other fighting games can be hard to parse. You're watching it, it's like, what am I really seeing here?
I see. Gotcha.
Smash, it's very clear.
Yeah, what
you're seeing. So,
yeah, I've never dived in too far into the fighting game world with the tournaments and stuff, but I do every once in a while. There's always like a story that kind of brings me back in, or was it a couple months ago? I found there was an anniversary of a huge event that happened years ago that everyone loved in that community.
Moment 32 or something.
Yeah,
like that?
Which I had never seen, but once I watched it,
I believe you hadn't seen that.
No, yeah, I didn't know. I've just never paid attention to that whole fighting game environment or community. But yeah, that video was awesome, and I love when they can really, and I think they're doing that more, especially with Evo, when they're tying the players to the actual what's happening on screen and showing the emotion, the tension, the actual sportsmanship that's happening. I like that. That's how really they've already transcended and succeeded with all these huge tournaments, but that's how they really grip everyone else on the outside, is they showcase the human side, the actual players going against each other, rivalries. That's where it gets interesting for me.
Oh yeah.
It's just the drama.
Well, and if you really watch a whole tournament, the storylines that just sort of naturally occur of somebody diss somebody, or somebody popped off and now everyone's against him and you want him to lose. So that moment 32, if you don't know, so it was Daigo versus, I'm going to get this wrong, I think it was Freddie Wong.
Yeah. I think that's a director guy. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, actually I think you're right. It's
moment 30. Is it moment 32? Moment 37. Even moment 37, yeah.
Okay. So it's Freddie, who the shit was it?
So Daigo versus Justin Wong.
Justin Wong. Okay, I got it backwards. Yeah, so Daigo is, canon-wise, he's a good guy.
Okay.
In the fighting game community, he plays very pure characters. He doesn't really cheese. He just plays a square game. And Justin Wong is a bad guy in the fighting game world.
Yeah.
He plays dirty. He'll do some very unfair tactics. When we see him doing this perfect parry, Justin Wong, I think I've told you this before, is smashing on his controller to try and mess up the other guy's timing.
Yeah.
Because so it's interesting. So that made that moment even that much more cooler, seeing the storylines.
That's using the sound created to throw off the timing of the other person, of you jamming on your buttons.
Exactly. That being said, he's come back and had his own moments. I remember watching him, one of my first Evos, really watching the whole thing. I watched him do, it was one of my favorite games was Marvel vs. Capcom, because that game is it's just explosions. The whole screen
I always love the art
is
style.
Exploding the whole time.
Yeah.
And it's fun to watch. And I think he somehow got knocked into losers mega early. So you have to fight twice as many people.
So when you say winners and losers, is there a separate bracket? When you lose enough, you fight with other
It's double
losers,
elimination.
Okay. Gotcha.
So you get to lose basically, no matter what, you can lose once and continue.
Gotcha. I see.
So yeah, he fought twice the amount of people, and he had some close games and still come back to win it. So it was really cool seeing him kind of come back and kind of become a good guy in the fiction, this weird fiction we have,
right? Which
is these games are there was one I love from last year, I think it was, where one of the really good Street Fighter Filipino champ, or there's two guys I get confused that have very similar names. and he went up and they gave him his medal or whatever. And he's like, whatever, I don't.
Whoa.
Like he didn't even let him put him on or something like that.
Interesting.
It's so disrespectful, but that's him, and it's so much more fun.
It's like
to watch.
an anti just to the whole thing.
Exactly.
Interesting. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Well, Gavin, I think we'll end it there.
Sweet. You don't want to say the news about the new Switch controllers, which I don't.
Well, I didn't pull that up, but it is pretty interesting. So it's a Switch. It's like there's a term for it, but it's a Joy-Con drift is what it's called. Yeah,
Joy-Con drift,
which I've experienced with my Joy-Cons, really with my nephews. Of course, I'm convinced he just throws them around, and so the Joy-Con will just like your cursor will move without you actually touching the joystick. So it makes it almost unplayable when it gets extreme.
My Pro controller got that almost immediately.
Gotcha. Yeah, so I wonder at least with the Joy-Cons, you can switch them out. You can buy new one. It sucks. Or you can actually fix it. I have looked into on Amazon. You can buy kits to replace the Joy-Con thing. It's not easy, but it's doable.
That's interesting.
But with the Switch Lite that's coming out, if you have that drift, if you fuck up your actual thumbstick, good luck. I mean, it's all one unit, so you can't replace it.
That's true.
Unless, I guess there is a teardown where you could take apart the entire unit and then adjust it. I'm not sure how easy it's going to be to fix that, but
this is an Xbox Elite controller here.
Like with the actual, what are you talking about? Like the one you have, or like the
isn't it the Xbox? You can like take out the sticks, you can adjust like the torque
you can.
And stuff on
it,
which is so cool.
It is, yeah. I've never actually used one, but I like that idea.
The fact that like I remember when the new Xbox came out, and they're like, we put what was it? Some stupid number like $1 billion or like $100 million into researching this thing that looks exactly like the previous one.
Yeah.
But that new Elite controller where you can adjust the trigger sensitivity, at what point it considers a full pull, the stick tension. God, that's brilliant.
Yeah. I really like that.
That's what you spend that money on.
Right. Yeah, and you offer that as just like a high-end option. I like some of that, maybe a stripped-down version of that. For the next Xbox, like an actual upgraded version of that controller. And I always love with the Xbox One, the thumbsticks, the little ring around where your thumb actually touches, it's kind of grippy there. So you can just it's more tactical. You can kind of feel it rather than, I know that happens with me with the PS4. It's just smooth on the thumbstick. So I'm always constantly having to adjust. And
it's not as bad as it was on the PS3 though.
I think it's more concave on the joystick, but still, it's smooth. It's not, you can't really like grip it very well. Yeah. And they're closer together, so your thumbs just kind of smack. Yeah.
That was fun.
This was in the news, the Joy-Con drift, because Nintendo's actually aware or publicly saying that they realize that people are having issues, but they just revert you to the FAQ that's on their website. They're not saying they're going to recall or fix anything. So
yeah.
But I think it's a product of use and how often you use them, if you've damaged it already. But yeah,
I feel like part of it may have been how much they tried to pack in these little rinky-dink controllers.
Yeah,
like you can't have the proper backing behind those sticks that you can on a full size. So.
Interesting. Yeah, that's true. Yep.
But I also know jack diddly about hardware, so I could be very wrong.
I mean, it sounds good to me.
I mean, if the PSP didn't have this problem, which I don't know that it didn't.
Yeah, that's true.
But that's going to have the same general sticks and be shoved into pockets.
Yeah, even less space than as far as like internally. But yeah, shoved in pockets. So I mean, we'll see what happens. I don't think much will happen with it. It's just something that not everyone experiences. And the fact that you can switch out a new Joy-Con, they're just gonna say, Nintendo would just say, hey, go buy a new Joy-Con.
Yeah.
You nerd.
It would be kind of annoying, though, with the Mini, because you mentioned, like, you're screwed, but you're not, because you can connect Joy-Cons to it.
Yeah. Yep. So either way, they're like, we're not going to do anything else. It's up to you.
I like the Sigma versus Sigma, because the new Overwatch character whose name's Sigma, who looks like Sigma.
I have not. This is new to me.
It is.
So there is an Overwatch, a new character? Is that what's going on?
Apparently. I haven't really paid attention to Overwatch for quite some time.
Gotcha. Yeah.
That is a top-heavy character. Holy shoulder pads. Samus Orion would like a word.
Now, who are they compared to? There's a Mega Man X. Oh,
and
okay.
it does look pretty damn.
I would also say like a beefed up Buzz Lightyear too. He kind of has that same color scheme going on.
Got the dome off, but I mean, it is really I mean, this was cool. Sigma was cool when we were a kid, but at the same time, these characters are really fucking generic.
Gotcha. Yeah.
And this one, especially coming out of Blizzard, like, you guys can do better than that.
It's a very anime robot-y kind of dude.
Yeah.
Dude.
I should be able to look at this guy and get his gimmick, and right now I just don't.
Gotcha.
So.
Yep. I know Overwatch is still super huge, so.
Yeah.
Yep.
Streamer apologizes for throwing cats. Have you? But you can. I haven't seen it, but you can throw a cat and they're fine.
Gotcha. It might have been the way she did it. I don't know. There's also some outrage and stuff going on in culture.
Yes, I'm sure the cat was fine.
Yeah.
I haven't
this
seen
just
it, though,
in the
so
cat
maybe
stand, Gavin.
Threw it onto her board of nails. Jesus.
Yeah. Alrighty, Gavin. I think we'll end it there. Where can they find you online?
You can find me on Twitter at DrunkDevs.
Awesome. You can find us Plastic Heart Pod on Twitter, and I'm Fonzie Pants on Twitter. That is it for us this week. We will see you guys next week. Bye-bye.